Stephanie here. So, I wanted to take some time today to talk about 5 tips for your own personal growth. Just 5 tips, and you will be on the road to a better you. Okay, so, number 1, don't live in the past. So many of us let our past dictate our future. So many of us let what happened define who we are, and we just accept it, and we think that our lives will never change. Let me give you a little background. So, I was abused in the past, and my children saw it. I was abused in every way you could think of. Physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, everything. So, I went through a horrible dark time. Depressed, suicidal, hated my life, thought I'll never amount to anything. No matter what I did, I felt like I wasn't good enough. So, I let that take over, and I ended up gaining so much weight. I ended up having an alcohol problem. I shut people out. I binged eat. I just hated life. It sucked. But once I got out of that mindset that my past was going to keep repeating itself, instead, I thought, well, you know what? The past happened. Yeah, I can learn from it. But ultimately, that does not mean it's going to happen again. And you know what? It is definitely not going to happen again. And I know a lot of you struggle with your past. People have hurt you. Maybe you've hurt somebody. There's lots of pain and despair, and maybe you went through really tough times, could barely afford food on the table. I know how that feels too. I've been there. And maybe you just didn't like life. Your life wasn't where you wanted it to go. But that doesn't mean give up. Don't live in the past. Don't let your past events keep you away from going after your goals, because ultimately you are the one standing in your way. You can learn from the past, like I'm hoping bringing up mine will inspire you, because I have come so far, but don't live in it. Don't dwell in it, because that is not going to lift you higher. That's going to drag you down. So anyways, don't live in the past. So, number 2, and I got my little whiteboard here. I love my whiteboard. Anyways, number 2, define yourself. Don't let other people define you for you. There'll be people who tell you different things. Some people will say, "Oh, you're so quiet. Oh, you're not good at that. You don't have those kind of skills." Don't let people tell you. You know who you are. Just because they say you're one way does not mean that's who you are, or that's who you have to be. Don't let it define you. Define yourself. Figure out who you are. Figure out what your passion is. Figure out what makes you come alive, because that is going to fuel you. That is going to ignite a spark in you that is going to push you forward. That is going to make you realize your full potential, and then it's going to open your eyes to everything. You are going to accomplish so much once you figure out who you are. Define yourself, figure out your values, figure out your strong points, figure out what you need to work on, because all of us can be better. All of us have skills. All of us have skills that we need to work on and that we want to work on. So once you figure those out and define who you are as a person, that is going to help you tremendously. It is going to break through that plateau that you have been on for so long. So, number 3, believe in yourself. So many of us have this doubt of ourselves. Like, we see all these successful people and we think that they're so much better than us, that they have much more tools than us, more education, more money. Well, that is true to an extent, but they don't have more knowledge, really. They researched and they learned more. They started off on the same level as you. A lot of them started off with nothing. A lot of them started off broke as a joke. Okay, so they just fueled their fire that was within them and their passion to become better. And they learned. They learned new skills. They improved the ones they had. They found their niche. They found what their passion was. And they went with it. And they gave it all they had. And that fueled that spark in them that enabled them to become so successful. So if you believe in yourself, you can go further than you ever imagined in your entire life. I'm telling you. Just don't give up. Number 4, ditch the negativity and the excuses. Now, this sounds kind of like number 3, believe in yourself and ditch the negative thoughts, but it's kind of different because you can believe in yourself but still have negative self-talk. Do you know what I'm saying? You can believe you are capable of something but still have that small voice in your head that says, well, maybe I'm not capable of doing this as much as I thought, or maybe I don't have enough time, or maybe I need to learn a new skill first, or you could just have all these negative self-talks in your head that somebody else is better than you, that you name it. But the truth is, your lack of success is because of your negativity. Your negative self-talk is feeding into your failure. Your negative self-talk is feeding into that lack of improvement. And negative self-talk can come from other people too. It can come from people who care about you. It can come from your so-called friends. Those people who are feeding it down your throat that your goals and your desires are not worth chasing after, that is negativity right there. And that is the kind of thing that you need to ignore and step aside and think to yourself, wait a minute, why would this person be saying this to me if they support me so much? That is not supporting you. That is tearing you down. That is feeding into your fear of failure. That's feeding into your fear that you will not succeed. So get rid of those negative thoughts. Don't listen to other people because they're just saying that because they don't understand. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they don't understand why you're so passionate about something and that they can't quite figure out themselves. But anyways, that's a topic for a different day. So, and the excuses, I mean, come on. We all have the same amount of time in a day. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all need to do the same things. We all sleep. We all need to eat. So what makes more people successful and others not is what they do with their time. So stop the excuses. Just because you don't think you can doesn't mean you can't. Your excuses will get you nowhere. If you don't stop and figure out a way to overcome that mountain, it's going to stand in your way until you do. And so the excuses need to end now, because successful people, people who grow in their business and in their life, get rid of every excuse. I mean, they still have excuses, don't get me wrong, but the difference is they know how to handle those excuses. They know how to go around them, and they know how to overcome the obstacles that stand in their way. So that brings us to number 5. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Are you hearing that? Think about it. Your friends, all those negative people, they rub off on you. You start to think and talk like them. Sound familiar, people? I used to hang out with people who had no spark in them. They didn't like life. They didn't really have any goals in life. So you know what? I started to think like them because that's what I saw on a regular basis. But once I started hanging out with people and associating myself with people who had goals, who were strong-minded, who thrived to succeed, who had this spark inside them that there was something